What up and welcome to Rama Screen YouTube channel, and here's my review of Netflix new documentary series Worst Ex Ever. Let's rock this. Now, you all remember Worst Roommate Ever docu-series, right? Also on Netflix. Well, this is the spin-off, if you will, from the same creators, from the same producer Jason Blumhouse. So think of this as a worst something something franchise that they're strategically expanding, if you will. And guess what? I am a huge fan. Not only am I a fan of true crime documentaries in general, but I just think that this whole concept is terrific. Sure, each of these stories perhaps could have been told in a separate lengthy docu all on their own, but what fun would that be? I mean, a format like this is a lot more time efficient, and you really truly get to the heart of the matter. Now, we all have exes, right? We all have gone through bad relationships and breakups. Well, these 4 episodes present to you some of the most evil exes from hell. I mean, these guys make Ramona Flowers' exes look like Peace Corps ambassadors, you know what I'm saying? I have already watched all the episodes, and as I was watching them, the one consistent thing that kept ringing in my head was, what were the red flags and what were the victim's blind spot that made them unable to foresee those red flags? But you know what? Sometimes some things just happen beyond our control, no matter how well we think we know somebody. One thing is for sure, Worst Ex Ever is absorbing. It's suspenseful, it's magnetic, at times scary and unimaginable, but most of all, this docuseries is infuriating, especially when it's an indictment of our justice system's failure to protect the vulnerable. Ooh, the kind of negligence or blunder that pisses me off. I'm glad this documentary exists so that victims can have their voices be heard and they can finally scream out, enough is enough. From the creators of the global phenomenon Worst Roommate Ever comes Worst Ex Ever, produced by Blumhouse and directed by Cynthia Childs. The new format, built around the universal feeling of wondering how much you really know about your partner, brings you more shocking tales of betrayal, violence, and deceit. Composed of compelling testimonials, body cam footage, and animated reenactments, Worst Ex Ever reveals the disturbing stories of monstrous past relationships. Worst Ex Ever was initially supposed to premiere a couple of weeks ago, which is why in the trailer you could still see the release date that had actually already passed, but Netflix decided to push it back till the end of this month, which is fine, it's understandable. You know how it is, there would be one true crime docu every week, and each one arriving in the middle of the week, so the schedule was pretty full or jam-packed previously, but now this show is finally gonna see the light of day. And if you've seen Worst Roommate Ever, well, Worst Ex Ever basically comes in the same type of packaging, meaning the talking heads from the victims, the survivors, and the legal experts, and then 60% of that would be the animated reenactments. The goal is not to make the animated characters look exactly like their real-life counterparts, and as you can see from some of these new episodes, they kind of butcher the skin colors on those character designs. But again, that's not the goal. The question is, does the animation manage to help you understand exactly what happened? Can they walk you through the terrors that the victims experience? And my answer to that is absolutely yes. I mentioned the word infuriating earlier. Well, the first couple of episodes of Worst Ex Ever are the most infuriating of them all, at least in my opinion, because, well, without spilling spoilers, let's just say that there are instances when law enforcement could have stepped in and prevented things from escalating, but they deliberately chose not to, and they purposely dropped the ball. And so suddenly the meaning of the term protect and serve just goes out the window. The second episode is even more of a nightmare because they took the words of a liar more than the words of an honest businesswoman, and it leaves you wondering, okay, our system is fucked up, I know that, but how did it get so massively fucked up? The third and the fourth episodes are terrifying. They are horrifying because the exes in both these stories literally went out of their way to try and kill the other person. You know how some folks would blame bad things on the devil or demons? Well, you don't have to go all fairy tale because people who premeditatedly and knowingly aim to cause physical harms in the way that these guys do, when there is no single shred of empathy left in their minds, well, they are the real demons. Especially that Asian ex-wife and her mom. What a couple of sociopaths. Like straight out of a Stephen King novel. Listen, Worst Ex Ever is one of those shows where the stories matter more than whether or not the documentary is well made. I'm not saying that the latter is not important, but if the stories don't deeply move you, and I would argue they do, then maybe true crime documentaries were never your cup of tea to begin with. And the animations are not distracting, and they are actually very helpful in making the story go straight to the point. And by the end of it, I was itching for the next new season, and hopefully they'll give us even more to chew on. So yeah, overall I give Worst Ex Ever the rating of 4 out of 5. This documentary is disturbing, creepy, chilling, and addictive. And one quick note to all y'all, when finding a potential spouse or a potential life partner, please, please, please do your homework on them. Do your due diligence. Don't just let your emotions and feelings do all the thinking for you. There's nothing wrong with trusting another person and letting somebody into your life, but please make sure that good judgment and discernment are included in that process.